In the heart of Transylvania lies one of Romania's most breathtaking underground places. A vast cathedral of salt carved deep beneath the earth. Today it attracts thousands of visitors every year, but long before it became a tourist attraction, this place was something very different. A place of darkness, of labor, of suffering. This is the story of Salina Turda and the chilling legend that its walls still hold the echoes of the people who died here. Salt mining in Turda dates back to the Roman era, when the region was part of the Roman province of Dacia. Salt was incredibly valuable in ancient times. It preserved food, it fueled trade, and in many ways, it was as important as gold. Over centuries, miners carved enormous chambers deep into the mountain. Using little more than primitive tools, they slowly hollowed out massive underground caverns. Some of these chambers are so large, they feel almost unreal. Towering salt walls stretch upward into darkness. Sound travels strangely here. Even a whisper can echo across the chamber like a distant voice. But these beautiful spaces were built through brutal labor. Mining salt centuries ago was incredibly dangerous. Workers descended deep underground where sunlight never reached. The air was heavy, the tunnels were unstable, and collapses were always a threat. Many of the miners were poor villagers. Others were prisoners forced into labor. Day after day, they carved into the salt rock with hand tools. Dust filled their lungs. The cold air clung to their skin, and accidents were common. Some workers were crushed by falling rock. Others simply collapsed from exhaustion. In many cases, their deaths were barely recorded. They were buried quickly, and work continued. Over time, stories began to spread. Stories that the mine had absorbed their suffering. One of the strangest things about Salina Turda is how sound behaves. Because the chambers are carved entirely from salt, the acoustics are unique. Even the smallest noise can bounce off the walls and travel across the cavern. Visitors often hear their own footsteps returning from strange directions. But some people claim they've heard something else. Whispers, voices, soft echoes that don't seem to belong to anyone nearby. Some guides say that late in the evening, when the mine grows quiet, the chambers feel different. The air feels heavier, and sometimes distant sounds echo through the tunnels, even when no one else is present. Of course, scientists explain this with acoustics, sound reflections, air movement, the strange geometry of the chambers. But folklore offers another explanation. In local stories, salt has long been believed to preserve things, food, objects, and in some beliefs, even energy. Some locals say the salt walls absorbed the pain of the workers who suffered here, their voices trapped in the stone like insects in amber. They say that when the mine grows quiet, those echoes sometimes return, not as ghosts, not as apparitions, but as fragments of sound, a whisper, a footstep, a distant voice carried through the darkness. Of course, no one has proven such claims, but the stories persist, and once you hear them, the mine feels different. In the early 20th century, the mine was eventually closed. For decades, the vast chambers remained empty. Then, something unexpected happened. The mine was transformed into one of the most unusual tourist destinations in the world. Today, visitors descend hundreds of feet underground into a surreal environment. Inside the caverns you'll find a massive underground lake, a Ferris wheel, walkways suspended above salt cliffs, soft lights illuminating the towering walls. It's beautiful, almost dreamlike. Yet many visitors still feel something unsettling beneath the beauty, because it's impossible to forget what the place once was. Many people describe a strange feeling when they reach the deepest chambers. Not fear exactly, but something heavy, a sense of presence, the vast space, the silence, the echoes bouncing endlessly across the salt. It reminds you that for centuries, people lived and worked in these depths, far from sunlight, far from the world above, and many of them never came back. Today, Salina Turda stands as one of Romania's most incredible underground landmarks, a place of beauty, history, and human perseverance. But legends still whisper through the tunnels, legends that the salt preserved more than the mine itself, that somewhere in the darkness, the echoes of those forgotten workers are still waiting to be heard. So if you ever visit the mine, stop for a moment, stand perfectly still, and listen to the silence. Because in a place like this, not every echo belongs to you.
If you enjoy dark history, Romanian folklore, and mysterious places like this one, leave a comment, share this story with someone who loves eerie legends, and subscribe to Crypt of Dha'Kult for more hidden stories from the shadows.